What's up? What's up? What's happening? Got another video for you. JD Vance got into it with the Democrat or so, and I mean, as you can see from the caption here, Musk rehires somebody from Doge who resigned over racist posts. Well, we'll see what his comments were, what his statements were. But before we get into that, I just want to say, add me on Instagram at the.o.m.experience. Give a like, comment, share, subscribe. If you've been watching this, if you've watched a couple videos, you've been to the channel more than 3 times. At this point, you gotta give a subscribe. It's only right, and I greatly appreciate it. To my 7 subscribers, I greatly appreciate you. Celebrations for you because you guys understand where great information is, great entertainment, and where authenticity rests, lies, and thrives. So, without further ado, let's get into this.
This is who they've decided to defend. The user called for the repeal of the Civil Rights Act. He called for a eugenic immigration policy. He said the world should normalize Indian hate. Democratic Congressman Ro Khanna, who is Indian American and is here tonight.
The world should normalize Indian hate. I would love to see what the actual quote is. That's multi-layered. I mean, if we're just gonna look at it from face value, that is very multi-layered. Because when you just look at it on paper, there are technically 2 Indians on planet Earth. Those that come from the country of India, and or is India a continent? Is it one of the 7 continents? I can't recall at the moment. And then you have native Indians, those that are native to the American continents. Uh, yeah, that's a yeah. If they put the actual quote up here, we would know. But if not, hey.
Like Vance's wife is also Indian American, he asked the vice president just a simple question on X. Are you going to tell him to apologize for saying, quote, normalize Indian hate before he is rehired into the government? Just ask.
Okay, what did JD Vance say? Here's my view. I obviously disagree with some of Elise's posts, but I don't think stupid social media activity should ruin a kid's life. Are you going to tell him to apologize for saying normalize Indian hate before this rehire? Just asking for the sake of both of our kids. Uh, uh, again, I would like to see the actual quote where he says that, but if that is really what, yeah, yikes. Wow, where social media is like, in this, people gotta really think before, reacting like, man, oh man, that is no bueno. If that is the case, if it's taken out of context, then that's a whole nother conversation. But again, we're looking at it from a outside perspective.
Asking for the sake of both of our kids. That apparently struck a nerve. Vance responded, telling Khanna to grow up. Adding, quote, racist trolls on the internet, while offensive, don't threaten my culture that denies grace to people who make mistakes does. Vance went even further in another post, accusing Khanna of emotional mistakes.
Let's run it back. I was switching my audio headphones. Are you going to tell him to apologize for saying normalize Indian hate before it's rehired? For the sake of both of our kids, grow up. Racist trolls on the internet, white, offensive. Don't threaten my kids. You know what does. A culture that denies grace to people who make mistakes. A culture that encourages congressmen to act like whiny children. Interesting.
My kids. But he says a culture that denies grace to people who make mistakes does. Vance went even further in another post, accusing Khanna of emotional blackmail.
I don't worry about my kids making mistakes or developing views they later regret. I don't even worry about that much about trolls on the internet. You know what I do worry about, bro? that they'll grow up to be a U.S. congressman who engages in emotional blackmail over kids' social media posts. You disgust me. I mean, when you put it like that, it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. But again, how old is this Aid? Because now, if he's like 8, if he's 16, I mean, I guess that's, you kind of pushing the dude. Like, you getting older, you can't make a mistake like that. And if you do, you better be prepared for those consequences, if there are any. And just because there's consequences doesn't mean that they're negative consequences. They could be positive consequences or outcomes. Let's put it like that. Are you prepared for the outcomes? Um, Now if he's like 18, 21, I mean 18, give a little grace, because I mean even I was still naive at 18. When it's like 21, 25, if he was one of those, those members that Elon had picked, one of those 6 members, oh man, oof, I don't know about that one. I don't know if we should normalize hate. Hate is a very strong word. Now, again, I get it. I get it. Words shouldn't make or break you. However, two things can be true at the same time. The universe is hypocritical within itself. That's how you maintain balance. But, words do have meaning. You think if you tell someone you love them, you will want them to truly feel loved by you.
The Doge staffer, adding, quote, "You disgust me." Well, the congressman is here, so I want to start with you because I, for one, was flabbergasted by that exchange. How did you take it?
I'll be honest, I wouldn't trust him. I wouldn't trust him. He doesn't look organic in any way, shape, or form. Like, we profile over here. At the BOM experience, we profile over here. And there is very little that says I am an organic, authentic, genuine person. Not even so much like, yeah, your flesh might be organic, but I'm talking down to a character, to your soul if you have one. Your aura through the camera doesn't even say I'm a genuine person who is as you see as I am, you know.
I was surprised that he reacted in the way he did. Look, I praised Usha Vance actually just a week and a half ago. I said, as an Indian American, I'm proud of her ascent as a second lady. And I've known Usha, I've known the vice president. And all I was saying is you have someone who's 25 years old who has made deeply offensive comments about Indian Americans, who's talked about repealing the...
Hold on, yeah, see, 25. You gotta be careful. Yeah, you getting old at that point. You ain't 25. You should be thinking twice. That should be like ingrained in you at that point. Think twice before you speak.
Civil Rights Act, who has talked about his disapproval of interracial marriage. You're going to rehire him. Is he going to apologize? Is he going to have any accountability? No one is saying cancel him, but you can't just rehire him and say, okay, everything is fine, and he's going to represent the United States government.
This is a metal roof, and
I mean,
this.
that's we. I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess.
Cancel him. Just asking, because we're living in an era where we're being told that if you talk about diversity, you should be canceled out of the government. But you can post racist posts as of a month and a half ago and welcome in.
Yeah, in a world where DEI and critical race theory and affirmative action are under attack, I feel like we're protecting white supremacists and racists and attacking Black and brown people who want to be part of the fabric of the country. And I'm curious how the vice president would explain to his Indian children why he stood up for somebody who said normalize Indian hate. Like, what would he say? And that issue may not come up today.
He also called the guy a racist troll. He acknowledged that this person who he wants back in the government is racist.
They obviously fired him in the first place, right? Why did they fire him?
Well, and I think there's two things that I see happening here. The first one is that this is the signal to his voters that we are going to let these things slide, that you can't be canceled anymore. For all of us, however, the other vast majority of Americans, we're standing by the fact that we are going to hold people accountable to that. And with all due respect, Congressman, an apology would not suffice for me in this particular circumstance. This is a moral character bedrock of somebody's perspective of the world. I don't care what you got on your grades at Stanford. I don't care what coding competition you won. These are not the kinds of people who should be filtering the biggest decisions in the design of this
So what,
country.
he's banished off into the desert for
No,
eternity?
you're-
Like, wreck
I'm
his
not
life,
interested
wreck
in
his
doing
career,
that.
send him off into
So you're
nowhere.
okay with racism in your
Absolute-
party?
Hold on, man. Let me finish. That is not what I said, so don't even go there. Absolutely not. I think it's important what he said. I frankly agree. If he's willing to acknowledge what he said was wrong and apologize for it, we are a
Which he
compassionate
didn't
people.
do,
Why can't
though.
we give
He
us...
didn't do that.
Well, we don't know that he's done that or not.
But he has
I'm just-
access to the World Wide Web. And you're welcome to apologize. We're very much looking forward to it.
I'm
And
just
also,
saying...
and also, the congressman asked J.D. Vance, the vice president, should this person apologize? Vance didn't say, yes, he should. He said, God, I mean, he said all kinds of terrible things about the congressman for whatever
post,
reason.
he acknowledged that the comments were sophomoric and terrible and all the stuff
And
that he
racist.
said.
Let's just-
And racist,
hold
yeah.
on.
Sophomoric. So this is not
He
inappropriate.
called the guy a racist troll, and now he's like, come back to the government.
J.D. Vance would have been better served if they just disowned this in the beginning. Like, this is one of those easy things to do. It wouldn't have been much backlash against J.D. Vance and Donald Trump if Elon Musk just decided, okay, well, this guy's going. I think this is more about Elon Musk's guy than anything else, because in most other situations, they would have just said, okay, we're going to cut ties with you, which is exactly what they ended up doing. But I still think that this part of this connection to Elon Musk, where many people have Donald J. Trump as president, J.D. Vance as vice president, but then Elon Musk as a Republican member of Congress described him as Prime Minister Musk. I think putting Elon Musk on the same level of Donald J. Trump, where we excuse everything that he does, I think that that's just really problematic.
Vance is wrong in that the information that we are receiving, the slurs that we receive as black and brown people, as women online, is hurtful, right? This is not, it doesn't matter, woke culture is worse. That's not true. And this individual works in government. When I go to my government and ask them for something, for help, do I have to worry that the person on the other end of the email or phone is racist and actually hates me and has been online saying, we think you should be whatever, deported or whatever?
He should apologize.
I mean,
that's
but
at a
it's
minimum.
not
He
just-
should
it's
just
not
have
just-
an
Absolutely, I'm
apology.
not arguing. I completely agree with that.
But again, like I do want to challenge us. This isn't an apology. Like I have a 5-year-old at home. He says he's sorry, and he does not mean it to his sister all of the time. It's just to get through the thing.
I was thinking that.
believe that the Trump administration was so eager for a moment like this to be like, see guys, don't worry, we're gonna save you. We're gonna make these things insignificant. We're gonna decurrency these kinds of statements and provide air cover. I agree with you. I think they chose the wrong one to die on the hill of. But we, as a society, as much as you want to strip DEI and wokeism and CRT, it's not going to work.
Well, look,
we're all still
I
here.
think that it's,
All right. I've heard enough. Here's my thing. Here's this is where when you really pay. You know what? I'm gonna do some more videos on this. It sounds good. Speaking towards the comment, if that really is what he said, you know, word for word, bar for bar, flow for flow, should there be an apology? I mean, it's up to him. Again, if he wants to deal with those outcomes, that's up to him. My thing is, I just can't, I don't get it where black people sit here and get so gung-ho about people of other races getting criticized for racist remarks or prejudice remarks per se, even if it's not racist prejudice remarks, because we know for a fact we still live in a society where if, and I'm gonna do some videos on this, you know, so you can get some merit. If you're in a certain economic class group and the people in that class group say certain things, you're not going to go against that because you don't want to hurt your economic standings. So what does that mean? Say I'm a kid from, all right, let's take Yale. Say I'm a kid that goes to Yale, and my father is an oil tycoon, right? The people in the oil tycoon industry say a lot of slurs. You don't see a lot of people of color working in that industry, per se, right? So they use some slurs towards uh, 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 let's just say they use some slurs to Hispanic Americans, those of Latin descent, right? Now, me as a black person, I could sit there and say, "Dude, that's wrong," but then they're looking at me like, "Oh, so you side with them?" Like, people still pick sides. People are not like deeply intellectual. People are still shallow to a very strong degree. And that may hurt my economic standards because now I may be, in this person's eyes, I'm chastising them, and this is what people think, right? I'm chastising them for their views, and now they don't want to do business with me. Now we could sit here and say that's ignorant and whatnot, but that's how people behave. That is a genuine behavior. Resources, you know, uh, really do curtail people's behaviors. Uh, and then I also don't get where black people are putting up and run into the defense of other groups when these other groups won't have anything that won't help you. And if they're benefiting from it, why? They certainly ain't gonna help you. They're like, oh man, I truly believe we need to just start holding people accountable. After a certain point, now you said certain shit. Well, whether it's a minor situation or not, understand that there are people on the planet that don't see things the way you do, that may hold a different value system. And if you flap your gums off too much, you might have to deal with the fact that you're dealing with somebody that says, hey, that line was too far from me. And then they come, and if they come at you, they come at you. If they don't, they don't, but those will be your consequences. You have 2 ears, you have a very big brain, you have 2 eyes and 1 mouth. I suggest you observe, listen, and think twice to 10 times as much more than you speak. You know, uh, hey man, let me know what you think down in the comments below. Give me a like, comment, share, subscribe, even give me a dislike. I think this is a very interesting conversation. I don't like doing CNN like that, very biased media, but it's all right. I try to give them their fair share. Let me know what you think. Ciao.